Hello, today is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. Uh, it's about to close for the day. It's 11:20 p.m. I'm quite drunk now on the Korean sake, which I bought 2 days ago when I was on a business trip in Kunsan area. Kunsan City in Korea is the both industrial, agricultural, and a military city because the U.S. Air Force and Korean Air Force has the airfield strip there called Kunsan Air Base or maybe K-16, something like that. K stands for Korea and 16, 17, 18. That's the uh, Arabic notification of the each individual airport in Korea. Okay, so K-16 is for the airport in Daegu, K-2015, something like that. So I am quite inebriated, but I'm still have to keep my own promise to read the English article each day. As with yesterday and this morning, I'm trying to read another English article, which I've read briefly at my office several days ago, and I stored it on my Facebook account. So I'm going to read this interesting article coming from America. The reason I am trying to read English article each day is to practice English every day by reading it aloud. Yes, I am not American native speaker. I am a pure 100% Korean. That doesn't mean that I'm very kind, but I'm creative at the same time. I have to retire in 5 years' time, so I'm trying to be well prepared for new life, new adventure in my life cycle. Uh, Probably I would be working in the English-speaking country after I retire, but hopefully before I retire, I wish to work for international position inside my company, Korea Telecom (KT), the number one carrier in Korea. I really like my job, and also I really like my company. But sometimes there are a-holes in my office. I don't know why. I have sometimes very difficult time with my colleagues. They seem to be a-holes. They are illogic sometimes. I am trying to logic, but they are very what they call very young, uneducated. So speaking of education and living on a posh life, this article is all about new trend in American housing or neighborhood trend. So let's find out what is going on in America where the life is quite diverse, uh, multi ethnicity, but at the same time, people try to have their own private life. So it's like a total tug of war between the private life and the living together in a more dense uh, uh, environment. So let's find out what the housing trend is all about in America. And also let's focus on the exact English pronunciation. Yes, I'm drinking a Korean sake called Hansan Sogokju. That's quite famous sweet rice wine coming out of Hansan in Chungnam province. By the way, I'm from Gwangju. This article is from The Guardian, the famous the UK British magazine. People are happier in a walkable neighborhood. That's very true in Korea. The US community that banned cars. Unthinkable. In America, cars are all about mobility. Walking is something of your years. Oliver Millman in Temple, Arizona. By the way, I would like to live in America. I don't know how, but you suggest, and I will follow your guideline suggest. Wow, this is really good. October 11th, 2023. This is 8-minute read. Let's find out how many minutes it will take for me to read it aloud. So 8 minutes means 33 minutes, 11:33. But let's see how I end up reading fast. If you were to imagine the first car-free neighborhood built from scratch in the modern U.S., it would be difficult to conceive such a thing sprouting from the environments of Phoenix, Arizona. A sprawling concrete incursion into a brutal desert environment that is sometimes derided as the least suitable city in the country. Yes, when I visited Death Valley and Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, back in 2008, quite arid. It was May, so I had a snow in the Yellowstone Park. Wait a minute, there was a Yosemite Park and the big redwood tree park. Wow, this is brown Korean sake is really sweet and very good and palatable in my mouth. I don't know, Arizona is a rich country, rich state. So it's quite difficult to think of Arizona as a very, with the pockets of very dense population. It's always sprawling throughout the state. But it is here that such a neighborhood called cul-de-sac. Wait a minute, cul-de-sac is the end of the alley. You cannot get out of the alley unless you turn around and run. Has taken root. On a 17-acre site that's very huge, that once contained a car body shop and some largely derelict buildings, derelict or dilapidated, or the buildings have not been maintained properly, derelict buildings, an unusual environment has emerged that invites Americans to live in a way that is rare outside of fleeting experiences of college, Disneyland, or trips to Europe. A walkable, human-scale community devoid of cars. That's very important and good expression. Devoid of. Your idea is devoid of concrete concepts. For example, devoid of. Your marriage proposal is devoid of sexuality. Right? Devoid of. Let's remember the expressions. Cul-de-sac ushered in its first 36 residents earlier this year and will eventually house around 1,000 people when the full 760 units, arranged in 2- and 3-story buildings, are completed by 2025. In an almost startling departure from the U.S. norm, residents are provided no parking for cars and are what? Residents are provided no parking, for cars. I don't know, in Korea, parking space for cars is very important. And it's much more important in America, but their residents are provided no parking space. That's terrible. The apartments are also mixed in with amenities such as a grocery store, that's common in Korea, restaurant, yes, yoga studio, yes, and even gym, and bicycle shop that are usually separated from housing by strict city zoning laws. In America or in other large countries, all those commercial spaces are separated from the residential area by city zoning laws. Korean zoning laws are, I think, more lenient compared to American zoning laws. So let's remember the term zoning laws. Zone A, B, C, D, or zone urban, suburban, suburb, sub-suburb, rural country, C, coastal area, and North Korea. All those are zoning laws. Neighbors of this ilk can be found in cities such as New York City and San Francisco, but are often prohibitively expensive due to their allure, as well as stiff opposition to new apartment developments. Now let's find out what the ilk means. We know the elk, the animal, the Santa Claus always drive. But ilk, what is ilk, man? Sounds like milk, but ilk. Ilk, same, each, category, class, kind, each identical alike. Ilk is a village in Smar-Barak County in the northern Great Plain region of eastern Hungary. Okay, quite a difficult pronunciation, but ours says ilk means each, identical, light, category, same class, kind, same each. Okay, based on that information, let's see how I can interpret the meaning. Neighbors of this ilk, this kind, right? I don't know, ilk, never heard of it before. So I don't know, that strange word, ilk, can be found in cities such as New York City and San Francisco, but are often prohibitively expensive due to their allure, as well as stiff opposition to new apartment development. The $170 million cul-de-sac project shows we can build walkable neighborhoods successfully in the U.S. in the 2020s. According to Ryan Johnson, the 40-year-old who co-founded the company with Jeff Behrens, a former McKinsey consultant. So Jeff, you must be very famous, and are you competent enough? Of course, I'm sure that you had a lot of experiences under your belt. Hey man, but when it comes to Korea, I'm better than you. I'm a local expert. Johnson has the mien of tech founder. Mean trend, I think, with his company long t-shirt and fashionable glasses, and was part of the founding team of Open Door, an online real estate business. But his enthusiasm for car-free living was born, he said, from living and traveling in countries such as Hungary, Japan, and South Africa. Mien, right? M-I-E-N, trend. Well, modus operandi, right? The operating. Come on, man, I am drunk, but I can type in mien, a person's look or manner, especially one of a particular kind, including their character or mood. He has a cautious academic mien. A person's look or manner, mean. There's a Korean family called Mien. Same pronunciation. Mean. The meaning of mien is air bearing, especially as expressive as attitude or personality. Demeanor, how to use mien in sentence. Did you know? Fuck no, at all. Sorry about that. Johnson has the mien of a tech founder. Johnson has the mien of a tech founder. Johnson has mien of a tech founder. With his company long t-shirt and fashionable glasses, and was part of the founding team of Open Door, an online real estate business. But his enthusiasm for car-free living was born, he said, from living and traveling in countries such as Hungary, Japan, and South Africa. Originally from the classically sprawly part of Phoenix, Johnson once had an SUV, but has been car-free for 13 years. That's amazing for American. He has been car-free for 13 years. Can you believe it? I don't believe him. Instead, he has a collection of more than 60 e-bikes. Could you give me one? E-bike is very expensive. 60 e-bikes. Ooh, very sweet. Although he said he has stopped acquiring them as he is running out of storage space, just like Jay Leno. He has a lot of cars, but he has never contacted me about, sharing his fortune, wealth. At least he could invite me over and I would help him out with all the security and network provisioning, proper provisioning of his real estate and his cars. Mobility is all about, freedom. Well, Johnson has the mien of the tech founder with his company long t-shirt and fashionable glasses, and was part of the founding team of Open Door, an online real estate business, but his enthusiasm for car-free living was born, he said, from living and traveling in countries such as Hungary, Japan, and South Africa. Originally from the classically sprawly part of Phoenix, Johnson once had an SUV, but has been car-free for 13 fucking years. Instead, he has a collection of more than 60 e-bikes. That's amazing. You are just one person, but you have 60 e-bikes, and it's more than 60. Although he has said he has stopped acquiring them as he is running out of storage space. So that's why Korea Telecom or KT Cloud Service is very big player in Northeast Asia. Today in the US, we only build two kinds of housing: single-family homes that are lonely and have a painful commute, or we build these mid-rise projects with double-loaded corridors, and people mostly just walk to their car, and that makes people no fear of their neighbors, he said Johnson. We look back nostalgically at college because it's the only time most people have lived in a walkable neighborhood. People are happier and healthier and even wealthier when they are living in a walkable neighborhood. It's a very important concept. Your neighborhood should be walkable. Cul-de-sac is not only different in substance, but also style. It's different in style. The development's buildings are a Mediterranean sugar cube white accented with ochre, and are clustered together intimately to create living country yards for special gatherings, and paved, not asphalt, pasillos, a word used in Spanish-speaking parts of the U.S. Southwest to denote plazas or walkways for strolling. Okay, plazas and walkways. Very good. Very tasty. Importantly, such an arrangement provides relieving shade from the scorching sun. Temperatures in these walkways have been measured at 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius on days when the pavement outside cul-de-sac is 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 48 degrees Celsius. 48 fucking degrees. That's amazing, man. The developer claims. The architects call the structures fabric buildings that form shared public realm rather than charmless utilitarian boxes situated next to a huge baking car park. Car park. Obviously, that's a British term for garage or parking space. Car park. It's a positively European, somewhere between Mykonos and Ibiza, said Jeff Speck, a city planner and urban designer who took a tour of cul-de-sac earlier this year. It is amazing how much the urbanism improves, both in terms of experience and efficiency, when you don't need to store automobiles. There is a small car park, although only for visitors, some disgorged by Waymo. The fleet of Google-owned driverless taxis that eerily cruise around Phoenix with their large cameras and embodied voices to measure passengers, to calm any nerves about making the leap to being car-free. Cul-de-sac has struck deals to offer money of Lyft. The riding-sharing service. And free trips under light rail that runs past the buildings, as well as an on-site electric scooters that first 200 residents to move in until getting e-bikes too. Such a place is an oddity, Speck points out, because of a car-centric ethos that permeates U.S. culture and city planning. Over the past century, huge highways have been plowed through the heart of the U.S. cities, obliterating and dislocating communities disproportionately, those of color leaving behind a stew of air pollution. These roads have primarily served a sprawling suburbia compromised almost entirely of single-family homes with spacious backyards, where car driving is often the only option to get anywhere. The car dependence has been reinforced by zoning laws that not only separate residential from commercial developments but require copies parking spots added to everyday construction. The result is a nation in which we are all ruthlessly separated from most of our daily lives needs and also from each other's backside. Cul-de-sac can be seen then as not only a model for more climate largely friendly hopping. Yeah, I feel tired and drowsy and sleepy. I wish to stop here, but I'm a man of honor, so let's finish this article. Nonetheless, transportation is the US's biggest source of planet heating emissions, and studies have shown fuels most of the pollution causing the climate crisis, but as a way of somehow sticking back together, communities that have been physically and socially and politically riven, lacking a third place to encourage other than dislocated homes and workplaces. Cul-de-sac residents have. Yeah, I'm now lying down on my bed. I feel drowsy, feel sleepy somehow. Cul-de-sac residents have this shared living of living without a car and can have the sort of chance encounters that foster social cohesion, according to Johnson, who himself lives in one of the airy apartments. When we started, the people said, "What are you doing? You are not going to get permission to build that. The demand's not going to be there," he said. And instead, we get a unanimous approval, and there's a lot of demand, and it's open. Residents love it. Vanessa Fox, a 32-year-old who moved into cul-de-sac. Oh man. Yeah, I spilled a cup of liquor. Now I'm just massaging myself, applying the liquor on my creases of my body, like neck, nape, crevice of my elbows. That's bad. I'm sorry about the loss. Looks like I'm old and drunk, but I will finish this up. Sorry about that. I'm not that drunk, but I'm less focused. Vanessa Fox, a 32-year-old who moved into cul-de-sac with a husky dog in May, had always wanted to live in a walkable place, only to find such options unaffordable. For her, cul-de-sac provided a sense of community without having to rely on a car every time she left her apartment. For some, cars equal freedom, but for me, it is a restriction, she said. Freedom is being able to just simply walk out and access places. Speck said that he expects closer relationships to form among residents. "We will soon have cul-de-sac babies," he predicted. Fox admits, though, that some of her family and friends consider her decision to go car-free to be somewhat of an oddity. Oddity. The York, same thing. The New York subway and railroad tycoons of yore, yes, I said yore, a long time ago, of the past, right? Yore, may have found international fame, but in the US, the car now reigns supreme. The car now reigns supreme. Around 9 in 10 Americans own a car, with only a tenth of people using public transport. Basically means 1 out of 10, which is typically underfunded and has suffered badly since the COVID pandemic on even a weekly basis. Even Joe Biden's administration, which has talked of reconnecting communities and acting on climate change, is enthusiastically pushing hundreds of billions of dollars to building new highways. Driving to places is so established as a basic norm that deviation from it can seem not only strange, as evidenced by a lack of pedestrian infrastructure that has contributed by a lack of pedestrian what contributed to a surge in people by dying from being hit by cars in recent years, but even somewhat sinister, strange and dangerous and chilly, sinister, and you feel bad, you feel dirtied. People walking late at night, particularly if they are black, are regularly accosted by police. You are approached and talked to at. Accosted by police. In June, the city of Kaplan, Louisiana, even introduced a curfew for people walking or riding bikes, but not for car drivers. Yeah, that's, I don't know, reverse discrimination. So let's find out the new word, right? The new word that I've encountered this word many times. It's just that I forgot 10%. But I know the meaning, right? Some US billionaires become more commonplace, and then cities will not only have to alter their planning codes, but there will also be have to be a cultural switch from the ideal of large suburban home with an enormous car in the driveway. Of course. Well, some US billionaires have dreams of creating new utopian cities that have such elements, although urban planning experts point out it would be better for the environment if existing cities just become denser and less car centric. Yeah, I feel tired. Curfew? That's unthinkable, man. Curfew, you are living adult and you need a curfew? Fuck that. Johnson, who said he is planning to bring the cul-de-sac concept to other cities, is upbeat about this. This is something that the majority of the US wants so they can work all over the country, he said. We have heard from cities and residents all over the county that they want none of us, more of this. And it's something that we want to build more. Every trend begins with one off, Speck said. True proliferation will be dependent upon new cities improving their trade and micro-mobility systems. But for those cities that offer a decent alternative to driving, there is a great fit immediately. Government officials should be among themselves whether the cities are cul-de-sac party. This is the first in new series, The Alternatives, looking at government and communities around the world who are trying out new ideas for low carbon living. Well, I just try to continue to read this article, even though there were many secondary thoughts going through my mind. For example, I just admire Mrs. Liu. Her full name is, what is her name? Hiju Liu, and Jinok Che, Yeonuk Che, which I don't trust, and because he's very close to the governing management, and he's a big spy for them, and he always sides with the management, always on the side of the management. That's very bad discerning man. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye bye. Oh man.